It's close season, that means one thing: welcome back to Thorpe Park Resort, and of course the walk in which we will get a great view of Project Exodus, the brand new coaster for Thorpe Park, which development is starting now. And there's a lot to report from down here, to be honest with you. A lot of things have happened. Obviously the coaster permission was delayed. There's a few things the park had to work out, so I think the 2024 original opening date is definitely going to be pushed back now to 2025, but work has finally begun, and it starts here. It starts here with this fence, Cody.
No fence?
We know I like a good fence. So as you walk down from sort of the top end, you can see all this fencing has been replaced. Coming down here, you can see the old fencing up there. As you head round with all the work that's been done here on the shed. Of course, the shed where all the trains have been stored. And the trains aren't in there either. They've been moved too. They've been moved further down. And all this path here that was once part of platform 15 has now become an access road right the way down, to be fair. Past where the old zombie walkthrough used to be is all now an access area, as work will begin on this site. Now, we knew from Creek Freak Massacre that they had removed some of the station for Loggers Leap. Can't see any of the other Loggers Leap been removed yet. Obviously the big sign will be when the lift hill goes here, but let's show you some of the close-ups from around here, and then we'll walk our way down and show you some of the changes as we prepare for Project Exodus. So inside the shed, the tracks still remain. However, they quickly disappear when you get outside. The shed is now completely emptied. Quite honestly, expecting demolishment very, very shortly. Close up there of the stations, first time we've seen it open in many, many years. I mean, obviously they used to, I think they had 3 trains which used to come in and out of here all the time, taking people to Thorpe Farm. Thumbs up, give us a like and give us a comment if you are a Thorpe Park OG, and I mean OG as in you rode the Canada Creek Railway from Canada Creek right the way to Thorpe Farm, not on the bear hunt just around the corner here, right the way to Thorpe Farm. Because we know there's a lot of new wave enthusiasts come through that maybe missed this one, but let us know, are you old school? Did you get to ride it? We did. Just tell Cody that Kurt got butted by a goat up at Thorpe Park. It's one of my first memories of taking Kurt up there, was him getting knocked over by a goat. It was bloody hilarious. Now as we continue to walk down here, you can see the debris of the old fence, and of course some of the railway track. A lot of it's already been removed over the years, but there is a little bit left. And of course, last time we were down here on this area, the Canada Creek Railway train, which was used for platform 15, which was altered slightly, was sitting here. That has now gone, as the whole area starts to be cleared, as this will be one of the main access points. Now, before all this comes down, obviously all this fencing will have to come down as well. The grey fencing will have to come down in order to get full access out. But you can see sort of the park's priority as you come along here. All the new posts for the fencing are there. We've got temporary fencing along here as they start to replace it, which is a really good idea, to be honest with you. We've seen a couple of holes in the fence already. Someone's written something quite abusive on the side of one of the trains as well. So yeah, I think it's probably a good start by the park. You'll recognise the fencing. It's something they've used on Jumanji this year as well. And as you get a bit further down here, you've got a little bit more solid fencing, which I wouldn't expect them to replace. Certainly down this end. But I think further down the other end, they probably will. Right, the Old Town area is now a little bit more open, so let's go and have a look at that. Old Town was open for Halloween with Creek Freak Massacre, which we did say, everyone said it was roaming. We did say it would be open, as we've got some more track here, and as you can see all the concrete in with some of the new fencing over here. But yeah, all this has been open now, where in previous years this has all been blocked off. You can see demolishment has really started to come in. I think people thought this, or think this building might remain. I can't see it, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna go. Of course, we did get to see Rocky Express during Halloween. It is still very much there. And you can see one of the newer attractions, Black Labyrinth, to the left there. The area is now shut off again. Obviously not expecting it to be open ever in this form again. So the zombie walkthrough has been gone a couple of years, but as you can see now, this is very much an access area. And it's access right the way along here now. So all the forestry's gone. The once Blair Witch project has very much gone. And I would imagine they're going to continue replacing the fence right the way down here as they clear. They certainly need to be honest. There will be a lot of interest in the new coaster, and they're aware of that as well. I think they're aware people will be down here looking at the new coaster, even potentially when the park's open, once construction really ramps up, which is great because, you know, we've not had good access to you know, see some of the coasters being built, and there is you know, there's a lot of people that want to see it, myself included. But all access is open now. Talking about coasters, Cod. Obviously, Thorpe Park posted on their social about Colossus, which is missing all of its inlines. So Colossus is going to be having a partial retrack, I think, over the next couple of seasons. And again, we talk about icon rides. Obviously, Nemesis is closed this year for a retrack. That is arguably the icon ride of Alton Towers, or certainly still open. I would still argue perhaps the Corkscrew was the you know, the icon ride of Alton Towers. Wasn't preserved the Corkscrew, but fully understand why Nemesis is. You know, Vampire at Chessington definitely needs some love. That's been closed for the winter's event. That's not going to be open, sadly. And then Colossus here was the first big coaster. Now, as far as we're aware, Merlin aren't working with Intamin anymore, so it won't be Intamin, we don't think, that are refabricating the track, which is quite interesting. People are obviously hoping that it will be, you know, much smoother, much better. I mean, the inlines for me were never a problem, to be honest with you, but I imagine they're quite a high stress point with the trains. Now, we're not obviously going to be getting new trains for it, again, that we're aware. And, you know, I was very skeptical of Sick when Sick opened, but after going to ride Sick, it is streets ahead of Colossus, and I mean streets ahead of Colossus in every aspect. So, you know, Thorpe Park are going to be investing the money in Colossus, in particular to kind of keep it at the park, where I think many thought maybe it might be sacrificed. It will be interesting to see what other changes they make to it. I'd love to see new trains. They're not working with Intamin. I don't know how new trains work, but I'd love to see new trains on it. I'd like to see lap bar trains on it. Definitely add something a little bit extra to it, but we'll try and get some shots of that one. If not, you can check out their social media. But yeah, just to show you, obviously this is where the hut used to be. You used to see that coming off of Nemesis Inferno. It's all clear now, although the tent still remains, which is really random, but it's all clear now. So quick break in the middle. As we said, we know that the Colossus inline is being replaced. However, not a lot of it has been removed quite yet. The Nemesis Inferno train sits in the brake run. Some bits missing, some of the restraints. It's worked on. The other one will be in the workshop. So again, not really any changes down here, to be honest with you, because again, we're fully accessed up now for the new site. And we say it every year. It's really weird, because when you walk down here, I think anyone that watches these videos that doesn't perhaps know Thorpe Park, does seem really abandoned, doesn't it? Really does. It's not obviously like this from people's side, the other side. Everything just looks so final, and that becomes really apparent as well as we start walking down this path. So a lot of debris down here, including obviously a lot of old Rumba boats. The Rumba Rapids boats always stay out here. Very odd actually to see Angry Birds theming out here. Not entirely sure which part of Angry Birds that's come from, to be honest with you. But there it is. And then the boats, as we've mentioned many years before, they do get covered up now for winter, but it does seem to be less and less in operation. We can see some more fencing. Of course, this is quite solid actually, this bit of fencing, in fairness. I wouldn't be expecting this to be replaced anytime soon as we walk down to the Rumba Rapids boats. Most are undercover. If you think that, you know, we only are mid-November, these have only been here a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks these have been here. I mean, you can even see the old Thorpe Park logo on the side where they used to be on there. What do we think? What do we think the future holds for Rumba Rapids? Seems to be a, I think the Rapids seem to be a dying art. Obviously Legoland's one. I'm not even sure Legoland's one opened this year, to be honest with you. It always seemed to be sort of shut when I went. I went 4 or 5 times, it was closed every time. Even the old spectacular car that's been used around currently has no home at all. We can see some of the old fencing that sort of made its way down here. But hold on people, there is more to come. As we walk further down, we can see some of the concrete that was removed from outside of Rumba Rapids last year when it was redone. And of course, the wet, wet, wet sign for the sort of chute flumes, which used to be down by Depth Charge, Neptune's Kingdom, or Amity Cove, as it's probably part of now, is just sitting there. Some real memorabilia. But are you ready now? Because we talk about memorabilia and finally we get to see some of these for the very first time in many, many years, and you forget just how many there were. Hold on tight, it's time to see the trains. It's a sad look at the old Canada Creek Railway. You can tell which ones have been outside and which ones have been inside the shed, but these stretch quite a long way. So they've been taken out. As you can see, all the couplings on the bottom have been removed, which is probably quite a mission in itself, to be honest with you. And we're not entirely sure. I mean, a lot of people are saying they're going to be scrapped. I say it's not been confirmed by the park. I mean, you know, the park aren't going to confirm any of this, to be honest with you. And here is the Canada Creek Railway, and it does stretch right down there as well to where the locomotives are. So yeah, it feels a real end of an era now, from sort of the mid-90s where I started coming to Thorpe Park. I started to go to Chessington first, as I'm sure many of you are aware. It's, you know, it's an early memory of going down to Thorpe Farm, along with the water boat as well. I think the water boats are long gone. And yeah, Canada Creek Railway. I know many remember it from recent time for the little bear hunt. You know, it was inevitably going to be closing once the Thorpe Farm went. And yeah, it's really, really sad to see. Parks move on. These things are expensive to run. I hope they find a new home, in honesty. I really do. Really hope they find a new home. Now, it's going to be difficult to get some shots of the locomotive because they are behind quite a lot of trees, but we'll give it our best go. Just miles and miles of trains it fills. Right the way down to the other end. And these used to be full back in the day. These were all full. Now you will recognise this one from the one that was used for Fright Night, slightly adapted. I mean, you know, that's beyond help in terms of ever being recovered again as a train. But for those that perhaps haven't seen them, there are the pristine trains down here, a couple of them down here. As I said, they are tucked behind here, so they're not easy to take a picture of. You can see the back end of the one they used, and of course some of the pristine ones right there. And then as we walk down, sadly they are behind a bush. It'd be nice to get a really full frontal view of these. There is one of the original trains. There is number 3 right there. With the other one just behind this bush right here. There we have it, end of an era here at Thorpe Park as we prepare for the new project Exodus. There is another little car there as well, which we have got quite a good view of, but it has been some obscenities written on it, so we're not going to show it, to be honest with you. You know, it's not very nice. At the same time, there are a few holes in the fences, so I would guess that the park will be looking to fill some of these holes, I would hope, as they move along. But yeah, how excited are you now for Project Exodus? Now it's been agreed. You know, I really want to know in the comments, did you ride the original Canada Creek Railway? And if you didn't, did you manage to get on it when it was the bear hunt? I know Cody got on it when it was the bear hunt. Didn't see it for its original form, Kurt the other way around. So, you know, from my family history, it's a bit of both. It's a bit of a mixture. It really does bring back some memories for me. I love going down to Thorpe Farm. It was a real escape from the theme park, and the theme park then wasn't like frills and everything, but it was still a real escape, and I'd still like to see it, to be honest with you, to add some new dimension to the park. Did you see something we didn't see? Let us know in the comments below. But from our first update of the close season here at Thorpe Park, my name's Adam, this has been UK Theme Parks, and we'll see you next time.